Hello and welcome to Get Your Deck Out episode 3. It's me, Old Emo Dave. I'm here today in Fullfire TCG in Gloucester, and I have with me Dave Woodland. Dave, good to see you, mate. Last time we were together was on stream doing commentary.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Did you play today? How'd it go?
Yeah, so I played today. Didn't go very well.
Oh, no way. Okay, well, we're here today to talk about a different deck, but what deck are you on today?
So I was playing Jeskai, sort of Ascendancy Corey Caster deck. It's a deck that can just refuse to function, and it refused to function.
Right. Refused to function, but how many reps did you have on it? Let's be honest.
I played at F&M the night on Friday before, and that was it.
Oh, okay. So we basically got today a bit like what I had the day before. I played an RCQ on like 2 leagues worth of practice. Didn't read the primer which said if you run into Eldrazi, cry. And I played Eldrazi 2 out of 3 rounds. Yeah. Moving on, let's go back to why we want now to get your deck out today. Yep. You're going to get out for me your deck, which is the one you won the RCQ with.
Yeah.
Did we name it ninjas or assassins? What was the way we
teamed it? I think if you want to take the MTG Melee official name, it's Kethis Combo.
Kethis Combo.
But the real name is 5 color men jumping over walls.
5 color men jumping over walls. So that's why it's interesting. That's why we're here today. I'll get you deck out number 3 to talk about it. And talk about like ultimately how did that smash this current meta? And like what was like the key pieces that made you or helped you win effectively an 8-round event, right? Because it was a 5-round top 8 and cut.
Yeah. So the way Kethis Combo, and I think a lot of people build it right now, is they build it in sort of more of an all-in combo version, which means your card quality is significantly lower. You're playing stuff like Rona, which if you ever get to untap with that, you probably deserve to win in Modern.
Right, okay, yeah.
So I sort of went for a version of the deck that's playing more good cards that also interact with what I'm already doing. So Basim Ibn Ashak was the first one of that. So it is immediately draws me a card whenever I cast a historic spell, which is usually Opal, Amber, or Blood.
So you have support, like what is it, like 24 support cards?
Oh god, I couldn't even think off the top of my head.
So we got the Bauble, the Opal.
It's 12 zeros, and then there's 20 lands in the deck. And pretty much the rest of it is all historic permanents.
Amazing.
So that's something that's 4 Rumble, I think, is the only thing that's not historic.
So as well as Kethis, it's Kethis Combo on the basis Kethis is there and it still does a good thing.
Yeah.
You've got mainly that card then drawing an engine.
Yeah.
There's more assassins though, right? You'd like this deck?
Yeah. So this is my little spice here, was I put Arbaz Mir in. What I found a lot when I was playing the normal 4-color version was that I was sometimes struggling against energy. And the more aggressive decks, because it is a 5-color mana base, or 4-color mana base, you do have to play some rainbow lands, which are going to usually hurt you.
Sure.
And as a result, you tend to be on lower life totals, and energy obviously will prey on that, prowess will prey on that. So Arbaz was there to pad the life total a little bit, and also to help me in low resource games, because I found a lot of my testing, I was Emery looping with Kethis to just try and find something to do. So Arbaz is actually a kill with Emery.
Amazing. So tell us about your reasoning, despite, you've got Emery, Opal, a lot of things that loop into other current big decks. Like obviously you've got like the Cutterist, and you also played Jessica the Night. Is this the most efficient thing you found? Or is it mainly just because you enjoy jumping men over walls?
So it's a little bit of, I got Mox Opals and I want to use them.
Got you.
It's an investment, certainly. So you want to use that investment.
I rate it.
But I do think that there is a great Mox Opal deck in the format, and I know a lot of people will probably point to Affinity right now.
Yeah.
And I think Affinity's not the best Mox Opal deck in the format. I think there's something still maybe waiting to be found.
Yeah.
Because I think Affinity has some really, really clear problems.
Yeah.
So, like I say, it was more I wanted to play my Opals, but I think finding that best Opal deck is sort of a challenge, I think.
Were you a hoarder of an Opal, or did you have to drop a bank balance?
I spoke to my bank manager. He said, "Dave, you can't afford this," and I went, "No problem. I'm going to get them anyway." So
Klarna were on the other end of the phone.
PayPal paying free. Thank you very much.
I love it. And I think I probably know the answer to what was going to be my next question about we Breach was the ban to ban the Breach deck. Opal didn't go. I think a lot of people sort of had a thought that Opal is going to cause future problems. We're sort of about 2 months after that ban now. Do you feel we're second down into a place where Mopal? I guess it's Mopal. What's Opal? Mopal. Is ultimately super powerful, but the meta has found a way to cope with that card being the threat that you need to deal with.
Yeah, Mopal decks very much feel like Storm decks to me. If people respect it and people bring the sideboard hate for it, which is out there, then you can have a tough time.
Yeah.
And it's become a pillar of the format. But we're fine having pillars. Energy is a great deck right now. No one's clamoring for that to be banned, or at least anyone with a reasonable brain isn't anyway.
Yeah.
There's Eldrazi, people dislike it, but everyone goes, yes, beatable. Like, there's got to be best decks in the format. There's got to be best cards in the format. And I won't even say Maple's a best card in the format, but it is certainly a pillar of current product. And let's not forget, we had Opal for a long, long time.
Yes.
And it was never, to be honest, when it got banned, I didn't think it was a problem. It was a product of the stuff like Oko Uro, all the Snow Omnath stuff, just printed Urza, which obviously made it quite powerful.
Yeah.
At the time. So I think it was just a product of what came out recently. And yeah, I think Wizards sort of realized, this is beatable.
Yeah, I'm actually like leveling out with you as someone who actually doesn't own them, so like I got a little bit of FOMO that there's a certain amount of decks that are locked behind a £300 paywall, if not more, for me at the moment.
And the rest, if you want sagas.
But we all have our Oilers in our relative LGSs where you can probably lend some. Shout out Adam Bowers in Cardiff for that. If you obviously had success with the deck, on any given day, there's matchups which if you hit it, you don't do well. Like me, this last weekend, I run Zoo into Eldrazi twice and I was out.
Yeah.
What do the men jumping over walls find way too high and can't seem to like buy a win?
So it depends a lot. Like I say, I made my deck slower as a result of increasing the card quality. So fast combo, you can struggle against stuff like Storm or Titan, and sometimes be a struggle depending on the structure of your hand and their hand. Eldrazi can just go over the top of you quite a lot as well, and set up these board states, especially if they're playing like Ugin or the Karn versions. If it's Karn's version, you're in a world of hurt.
Yeah,
because getting Karn off the table is quite a challenge.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like overall state of mod that probably takes you on to is we're in the middle of the 7th series now, as everyone knows probably if you're actually listening to this, and we're seeing a regular set of players, and we're seeing an interesting sort of like little micro meta calls being made along the way, which is really like fun for coverage, and I see it talking. But like, is Modern healthy?
Yeah, I think Modern's perfectly healthy. I don't think there's anything I could point at that says it's too powerful. Like, if you put gun to my head and say Dave ban one card tomorrow, it's probably something from Eldrazi.
Okay.
But that is probably if the list.
Yeah, like
I don't think there's anything that's really too unbeatable.
Like you take probably Umber and soft bannings from other formats of Legacy, and like the fact that they run such low land count as it is, like Microspawn was taken that problem, and again recency bias absolutely ruined by it. But I'm also with you that it's a fair enough card, because obviously you do see Gruul just stumble out. You do see specifically the Gruul Eldrazi just stumble out. You have the right hate, you can keep it in check. And there's absolutely no real problem with it.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened to me in my last match today. I saw the pieces I need, and as a result, you couldn't get a game plan off, because they still need to hit 7 mana, which isn't difficult for an Eldrazi player. It isn't just like super duper easy. It's not like given that they're going to have 7 mana.
Yeah,
and if you can keep them off that 7 mana, then.
So if you were still needing to qualify today, would the men still come back out and try and jump the wall? Or
yeah, absolutely. I do like to muck around with decks. I think especially when I mentioned about the micro meta, you are incentivized to change decks week to week, because otherwise people are aware what you want and they immediately know what the best hands are against you and what's not. So having the ability to change decks is great. But yeah, I probably would have just forced Kethis, because it was great fun. I love the deck.
Yeah.
So I'm in a great place now where I can just muck around and sort of play decks that interest me rather than decks that I think are the
Yeah,
best.
and interestingly, like to like move on to the new set that's due, like Final Fantasy, well, the podcast viewers is due in about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There is a Legendaries Matter card, which has been printed. Has that taken your eye yet? Or
Oh, there's certainly one card that's taken my eye, and I have a brew working on it right now.
amazing.
Uh,
Well, if we get like 25 likes on this video, Dave will reveal it on his socials.
Yeah, of course I will. But no, it's there's a couple of interesting cards. There's nothing, as I said, there's one card that in particular is interesting me. But other than that, it's been a couple of legendary matters, but nothing that I think really makes it cut. The best probably legendary matters is the Hideaway Land. But then you play a colorless land in Kethis, you are inviting mana screwed for the rest of your life. So
No, exactly. That's good. Well, like obviously, yeah, we'll post in the chat about Dave's deck and like the link to go to your Mox field, and yeah, everyone wants to reach out. I'm sure like there's some discussions that can be had. Where you'll actually find Dave, actually he's got a t-shirt on for the visual viewers. He's actually from the Fullfire TCG here in Gloucester. One of the founding players. The thing is, I don't know how to explain this again to like the visuals. I think we'll come up for a separate video. This is the most American LGS the style thing for like, especially if you're from the UK. Like we don't have what you have in America, but we do have it here in Fullfire. Like what's so special about this place, Dave? I visually can see why, but what has been built at Fullfire, which is why like it's probably the fastest growing constructed community and card game community in like the whole of UK.
yeah. So like I think part one, and this is the most important part, is that Ben, the owner, really, really does care about the community. He's not in this to make money, lots and lots of money. Obviously, that's a great thing to do, but
Yeah,
that wasn't his primary goal when it's opening this. It was, I love card games. I love the card game community. We didn't have anywhere to play at the time because the last shop sadly closed down. So as a result, he stepped up, and next thing we knew, we had one of probably the best communities around because he cares. He wants to put on events that we all enjoy, and yeah, it's just great.
yeah, it's an amazing thing. I'll probably like stick some B-roll in amongst this video as well to sort of like take you around the store and like come up for like, I don't know, I'll work you for a day just for a video, it'll be cool. But like
Ben will say the free labor.
he will take them. He will. There's me thinking, oh, you'll pay me store credit. No. I'm paying you in content, Dave. But you know, if you like your Pokemon singles, you like basically anything Magic the Gathering. There's some tasty other stuff. I would recommend get down here. The wonderful, beautiful thing about this as well, still being a hidden gold mine, is they're still cultivating a local community first. Everybody jumps to the internet and tries to be like discount. In fact, the prices here are probably cheaper than anything I've ever seen online. And that's mainly because there's been a focus on in-store play and a community. So like Fullfire TCG Gloucester again, we're gonna like literally publish this all over like the comments, because I think for anybody who's within 90 minutes drive, it's a magic day out that is worth having to get down here. Modern is over for you. Oh well, it's not over. You obviously still played an event today and you still take part in the series. Standard is on the horizon. It's growing on its back. Do you have any particular deck that you would be playing if Standard started tomorrow? Or
yeah, so I'm currently I've got a Standard deck. I'm a big fan of the Jeskai Dragons deck.
Oh yes, go! Fist bumps to the order use. Is this what's happened then?
It's a great fun deck, and you can do some things with it to make it really spicy. Like 3 blind mice making infinite.
Oh, okay.
Go. So I've won a fair few.
Oh, so not just Jeskai Control,
Jeskai Dragons.
I'll still fist bump that. Like, well, I was fist bumping being a big fan of Jeskai Control. Maybe we'll get that deck list popping in. Let's just see what people think of that. This is like a double get your deck out, right out on the table, both of them. Obviously, Standard's growing. It's really it's been probably the most difficult to cultivate for any LGS, because ultimately Commander is such an easy like choose your deck and play. But it's becoming quite clear, like as we go around local, like this, the LGSs in the south there, the Commander players are going back to their houses. They've met their mates, they've met their play groups, and they are they still maybe come into the store, but unfortunately probably buying online their pre-con, and actually the thing you can do to sort of like be involved in the community is be involved in standard. Deck's about 100 quid now, which is like we were around for like the Pioneer time when the Pioneer time where like the standard deck was a Pioneer deck. God bless, like rest in peace. When like you had to play Fable, you had to play Sheoldred, so therefore standard decks are 500 quid, and it was like, oh, just go and play Modern. And half of us in here is probably why we play Modern now. Yeah, there's definitely a flourishing standard group coming back. Obviously, looking forward and ahead. Do you ever play any Pauper, Dave? Or
we are actually playing our first Pauper event, first Pauper FM, I should say, sorry, on this coming Friday.
Amazing. So if you're out in the Gloucester area, and that is Friday the 31st at this point? Yeah. We may get it out before then. But also, yeah, we are cooking a rather big event in the Southwest. Again, probably not come out before we actually publish this, but looking forward to seeing all of the team there. Any hot takes about Magic at the moment that you'd like to address in a public setting?
Hot takes about Magic. I think this is sort of relevant to when we're talking about standard is I think standard needs to win.
Agreed. I agree.
I think the idea of not banning the cards is not working.
Yeah.
We see Steelcutters doing really well. I'm not suggesting that should necessarily be banned. We see Monstrous Rage, who a lot of people have been saying it needs to be banned for a long time. And I appreciate that they want to build confidence, but that's great for new players. But for your entrenched players who know their card's going to potentially get banned and not worry about the investment so much, they want to play healthy formats. And
yes.
I don't think standard is healthy right now. It is being demolished by red aggressive decks. And I'm not. Do they need bans? I'm not 100% certain. I won't say I'm 100% certain on that. But I just think the idea behind let's ban as little as humanly possible just isn't working, and it won't work for current design space because we are bringing out more and more disgustingly powerful cards that are starting to see trackwards back to the eternal formats.
Yeah, so standards had its like post breakup glow up, I think, since coming back this last year, and now it's just needed to be reminded that a little bit of self care and a little bit of keeping yourself in shape and in line is also required if you want to keep getting like growth and attention. And we hope to see it. Obviously, bans will be coming soon, but definitely Magic being a great place, and there's some great Magic being played out there. Checking out the channel for the 7 series for our next events as they come along. Dave, thank you for getting your deck out for me today.
Thank you.
And like and subscribe if you haven't. That's probably going to be about there if you would do that. And also go over and see Fullfire TCG. They'll be there for their own content that they do around the store. There's a lot of Magic, Pokemon, everything in between. And that's all for now. Thank you very much, Dave.
Thank you very much for having me.
I go.